Hello, and welcome to the 2024-25 Back to School trainings. This training will cover test security. I'm Devin Avery, a program consultant in the Office of Assessment and Accountability. The agenda for this training will cover regulations that govern administration of Kentucky state required assessments, test security, best practices, and Cavion. First, we'll discuss the regulations that govern administration of Kentucky state required assessments. To maintain compliance and ensure a standardized approach to state assessments, anyone involved in the administration of state assessments must undergo annual administration code training. This training serves as a comprehensive guide to the rules and regulations governing the assessment process. The Administration Code Regulation 703 KAR 5:080 is being reviewed and will go through the regulatory process. The regulation is on track to be completely approved by this time next year, and trainings will be updated accordingly. Until the regulation is updated, the current legislation is in place. Ensuring test security is a collective responsibility involving every stakeholder, from the Kentucky Department of Education to the students taking the assessments. It is essential to effectively communicate all pertinent information about testing to those responsible for administering the test. Ultimately, teachers and proctors bear the brunt of allegations in case of any mishaps. Therefore, it is crucial to avoid putting anyone in a vulnerable position by providing them with the knowledge of what to expect and how to handle various situations during the assessment process. It is critical to establish a well-defined procedure for counting and tracking test materials. This includes check-in and check-out protocols to maintain accountability. Analyzing vendor results can be instrumental in identifying and addressing potential issues that may arise during administering assessments. Using this information can help educators and administrators narrow down problem areas and implement appropriate measures to ensure the integrity of the assessment process. An engaged proctor is a key component to the smooth conduct of assessments. An engaged proctor actively moves around the testing environment, monitoring students to ensure they follow instructions and are in the appropriate section of their test booklet or online test section. The proctor also ensures that students keep only allowable items on their testing stations, minimizing the risk of unauthorized aids or materials. Maintaining an engaged proctoring approach ensures that the testing environment remains controlled and conducive to fair and accurate assessment outcomes. Compliance with the administration code is mandatory for all individuals involved in administering any state assessment, whether online or paper-based. To facilitate understanding and adherence, the administration code trainings are offered in various formats, including in-person sessions and utilization of the district's online learning system. KDE also provides these trainings, which can be accessed through their official website. By participating in these trainings, educators and administrators can familiarize themselves with the administration code's guidelines and protocols, ensuring they are well equipped to uphold the integrity of the assessment process. Individuals responsible for providing or assisting with student accommodations must complete both the administration code and inclusion of special populations trainings. Many districts have found it is best practice to require all test administrators and parties involved in state assessments to complete both trainings. It's important to note that this local decision can be enforced independently of KDE without requiring their consent. It is crucial to remain informed regarding student accommodations, particularly when changes arise close to a testing period. Caution should be exercised before making any education plan modifications related to accommodations during or near a state-required assessment window. Such changes may be prompted by factors such as the timing of an annual meeting. However, any adjustments made must be supported by relevant data and evidence. Once changes are implemented, the supporting document must be locked to ensure the student's accommodation shows up on any roster pools during the assessment process. The inclusion of special populations training, which provides detailed guidance on these matters, can be accessed on the KDE website. By completing these trainings, educators and administrators stay informed and equipped to navigate the complexities of student accommodations and ensure a fair and equitable assessment experience for all. Now that we've discussed the two regulations, let's look at how to use best practices along with those regulations to avoid potential testing allegations. Comprehensive test security guidelines have been developed for the guidance of DACs, BACs, test administrators, and all individuals involved in the administration of state assessments. Adhering to these guidelines is paramount as they serve to guarantee that no student has access to any form of assistance or materials that could potentially grant them an unfair advantage. The overarching objective of test security is to safeguard the authenticity of the assessment and guarantee that the results obtained are both valid and reliable. The Administration Code regulation emphasizes the responsibility of DACs, administrators, and teachers for maintaining the security of assessment materials before, during, and after testing. When not in use during testing sessions, materials must be stored in a highly secure location, accessible only to authorized personnel to maintain test integrity and confidentiality. Test Administration Manuals, or TAMs, play a pivotal role in smooth and secure test administration. These comprehensive manuals outline necessary procedures and protocols for each specific assessment and are provided to test administrators well in advance of the testing window. By distributing TAMs to administrators, educational institutions ensure that administrators are equipped with the essential knowledge and instructions required to conduct the assessment properly. Furthermore, it is important to acknowledge that the test administration manuals hold the ultimate authority in determining which materials are classified as secure for a particular assessment. The Administration Code regulation does not explicitly label specific test materials as secure. The TAM establishes their classification. For example, ACT testing staff is permitted to print test tickets and provide scratch paper to test takers. However, the SEAL code, which ensures the confidentiality of the test, is deliberately not printed. On the other hand, the KSA testing staff has the authority to print test tickets, SEAL codes, and provide scratch paper. To ensure compliance and avoid any potential testing allegations, it's imperative to follow the TAM for that test, maintain security, and handle those materials with care until secure destruction or return to vendor. Please remember that secure test materials must not be reproduced in any form, either wholly or partially, or paraphrased in any manner. This includes actions such as discussing the contents, emailing, photocopying, photographing, handwriting, typing, posting them on social network sites, scanning, or saving to any local drives, including Google or other cloud-based shared drives. These restrictions exist to safeguard the integrity of the assessment and prevent any form of unfair advantage or compromise of the evaluation process. It's crucial to safeguard the integrity and confidentiality of testing materials before, during, and after the test administration. Assessment materials must be stored securely when not in use. Only authorized personnel should have access to these materials. Office of Assessment Accountability site visits may include inspections of double lock storage areas and verification of sign-in and sign-out procedures. Please maintain a high level of vigilance when handling secure test materials. This includes adhering to strict storage protocols, limiting access to authorized personnel only, and establishing clear guidelines for the handling and storage of these materials. By upholding the best practices, DACs can contribute to the overall security of the assessment process, instilling confidence in the reliability and validity of the results. Best practices for storage of test materials include collaborating with testing staff to create a sign-in, sign-out procedure ensuring materials are handled properly, securely locked, and stored in BAC's offices, and maintaining accountability to reduce risks of unauthorized access or mishandling. By following these practices, DACs help ensure the security and integrity of the assessment process. Again, to maintain the integrity of assessments, using electronic devices in any way that could provide a testing advantage is prohibited. Again, to maintain the integrity of assessments, using electronic devices in any way that could provide a testing advantage is prohibited. The Administration Code regulation strictly forbids students from accessing the internet, engaging in wireless communication, or utilizing imaging capabilities on electronic devices during testing session for purposes unrelated to test administration. Unfortunately, some students have attempted to gain testing advantages by concealing various electronic devices, such as cell phones, burner phones, borrowed phones, earbuds, and smartwatches. The list continually grows as our technology changes and evolves. This prohibited behavior threatens the fairness of the testing process and increases the risk of secure test items being shared on social media platforms, as we have seen in recent news. Best practices surrounding prohibited electronic devices include collaborating with testing staff to establish procedure for checking for hidden devices as students enter. Also, please ensure students power off devices and store them out of reach during the test. Consistently enforcing these procedures will help mitigate the risk of prohibited electronics use and helps maintain the integrity and validity of assessments. The Administration Code regulation explicitly states that test administration manuals, or TAMs, should be distributed to administrators prior to the testing window. This requirement underscores the importance of providing test administrators with the necessary materials well in advance of the testing window, and will allow them to read and familiarize themselves with the manual's contents before a session begins. Following the provided directions and scripts in the TAMs is crucial. Test scripts are updated and reviewed annually for each assessment. Following these scripts ensures the validity and reliability of test results. Test administrators must read all parts of the script aloud to maintain consistency and standardization. Best practice surrounding TAMs is to provide testing staff with the TAM at least 1 week before a specific assessment is administered. This will allow staff to review the TAM and address any clarifications or concerns they have prior to beginning a test session. This review period will allow testing staff to be well prepared and confident in their understanding of test administration guidelines, leading to a smoother and more reliable assessment administration. In order to maintain fairness and consistency in testing, student absences during testing must be for valid reasons, including absences due to student illness or injury, or severe family or personal circumstances. Principals play a crucial role in determining the legitimacy of these absences and whether makeup testing is necessary for affected students. KDE recommends that absent students should participate in makeup sessions with their peers as soon as possible. Makeup sessions should focus on the specific test parts missed during the absence. It is important to note that students should only work on items that were already completed after their absence. Adhering to this guideline helps ensure that each student has a fair opportunity to complete the assessment. All testing sessions should conclude at the end of the school day. When scheduling test sessions, ensure that students will have sufficient time to finish the session, or, if necessary, just do not begin the test session at all. As mentioned in previous sections, each assessment has its own guidelines and procedures. The TAM serves as the authoritative source of information on how absences are handled. Best practice surrounding student absence begins with reading and understanding the student absence policy in each TAM. Test administrators should develop a student absence protocol, including principal-approved absences, sequestering if required, and a well-planned makeup schedule. The rationale for the sequestering is to prevent students from discussing secure test content. Please refer to your TAM to ensure if sequestering is required and the procedures on how to sequester students for each assessment. By proactively establishing and following a clear procedure, schools can effectively address student absences, ensuring fairness and maintaining the integrity of the testing process. According to the inclusion regulations, school staff are responsible for making accommodations consistently available to students as part of their regular instruction and classroom assessment. Failure to do so could lead to a potential allegation depending on the circumstances. Additionally, the Administration Code establishes that any violation of the regulation outlined in 703 KAR 5:070, which is the inclusion of special populations, will be considered a violation also of the Administration Code. Consequently, such violations will be processed according to the guidelines outlined in the code. Best practice to ensure compliance and prevent potential allegations as they relate to accommodations include ensuring that testing staff are well informed about deadlines for requesting accommodations, which may vary depending on the specific assessment being administered. Schools should also establish appropriate procedures to create a suitable testing environment that can accommodate student needs. In monitoring and conducting observations, KDE has observed areas that can be problematic for field staff. First, scripts. Scripts need to be read in their entirety. As a reminder, please ensure that testing staff receives the TAM early to read and follow up with any questions. Scripts are reviewed and updated each year, so even if staff had administered that test before, there's a chance something might have changed from previous years. In addition, please make sure that all trainings are completed by everyone involved with any state assessment. Electronics, as best practice, test administrators have students power down their cell phones and put them away during testing sessions. Additionally, ensure proper monitoring is being conducted throughout the testing session. Good faith effort checklists are another area that can be problematic. Only evaluative feedback can be given to students once all testing is complete and the materials are out of the hands of students and teachers. Based on completed testing, the district or school can decide how to share the good faith effort checklist results. A school could decide to share the checklist results only after all testing for the entire school is completed, or a district may give other directions on how results can be shared. As a reminder, it is not acceptable to use local school board funds or cash awards from school activity funds generated by students for student incentives or rewards to A, attend school during the testing window, B, participate in assessment activities, or C, perform well on state required assessments. So some key testing reminders. Here's a recap of some steps and reminders to think about as you prepare for test administration. Training all staff involved on administration code and inclusion of special populations regulations with signatures, including additional staff who may be needed. Make sure you have signatures for all required documents, including student honor code, non-disclosure agreements, other forms and certifications as needed. Seating charts are required for all state assessments. As a reminder, knowing the assessment being given is vitally important as vendor policy differs from KDE sometimes. For example, ACT requires seating charts to be filled out on their form. However, KDE does not require an additional seating chart. The ACT seating chart is acceptable to KDE. Just keep a copy on file. You will need technology staff for troubleshooting when testing online. Active monitoring is vitally important during testing. Active monitoring means moving about the testing environment and being vigilant during the entirety of the exam being administered. Print student testing tickets prior to test day and maintain test security of all secure materials from the time they are received until they are shipped back to the vendor. Cover or remove content or process-related classroom posters. Observations. The observations by KDE could be in person or could be also a virtual visit. KDE staff will conduct site visits for all state-required assessments. Ensuring test security is crucial for both online and paper-based assessments. It is essential to mention here that the definition of online testing here refers to in-person testing supervised by trained staff. The Kentucky Department of Education and Administration Code regulations strictly prohibit remote proctoring for state assessments. Conducting assessments in person with trained staff offers several advantages. It ensures that test takers are provided with the necessary support and guidance throughout the process. Trained staff can address any questions or concerns that arise, offer clarification when needed, and create a standardized testing environment for all participants. Additionally, in-person testing allows for stricter adherence to test security protocols. Trained staff members can effectively monitor the test-taking environment, ensuring no unauthorized materials or resources are accessed during the assessment. This helps to maintain the confidentiality of test content and guarantees a level playing field for all test takers. Remote proctoring, despite its convenience, has vulnerabilities such as unreliable internet, identity verification issues, and limited monitoring capabilities, which compromise the security and fairness of the assessment process, making it unsuitable for state assessments. Now let's look at Cavion, the online reporting platform for allegations. While our aim is always to conduct a flawless test administration, it is important to acknowledge that test irregularities can occur despite our best efforts. When such irregularities arise, it is essential to address them promptly and effectively. Test violations must be reported as allegations. If there are questions about the types of violations that must be reported to KDE as allegations, please contact Beth Bales in the Office of Legal Services. To ensure the integrity of the assessment process, allegations are thoroughly investigated by dedicated KDE staff. The investigation process necessitates the submission of detailed documentation regarding the incident. Documenting the incident serves as a crucial record for guiding the investigation, which may involve additional school visits and interviews with students and staff to gather more information and ensure a fair assessment of the situation. As a reminder, the platform for managing allegations is available online through Cavion Core. This streamlined platform simplifies the process of reporting and tracking allegations, making it more efficient. To fully utilize this tool, it is imperative for the DAC to ensure that an account ID has been created. The links to the Cavion account and Cavion directions can be found on the KDE website on the Assessment Support Allegation Reporting page. There's also video posted to the KDE website on the same page that walks DACs through the process of setting up a Cavion Core ID if they have not already done so. To access the Cavion account and find detailed instructions for its setup, DACs can conveniently navigate to the Assessment Support Allegation Reporting page on the KDE website. This page is a centralized hub providing easy access to the necessary resources and information related to reporting. Here are some essential Cavion test security reminders. Important: all relevant documents uploaded with the allegation report should be collected in advance. However, if this cannot occur, a report can be temporarily saved as a draft. Please keep in mind, a report in draft status is not officially a report and therefore it will not be processed. Once all necessary documentation has been collected, remember to return to that report to upload and save it to submit. So before filing, you will need to record the date and time of the incident, list all involved staff, volunteers, students, identify the content area and the test parts impacted, identify specific content questions if applicable, record what you learn, report the incident, and collect all of these in advance of filing. Collect support documents for allegations regarding special education issues before filing, if applicable. Complete the KDE Core Incident Reporting Form application and connect to KDE Core Allegation Reporting. Only authorized individuals can access this secure application. After you submit the incident report and all required documentation, KDE will begin the investigation. At that time, you will no longer be able to view the incident report in Cavion Core. KDE will contact you if any additional information or documentation is needed. If you have questions about whether that report was submitted successfully, you can contact Beth Bales in the Office of Legal Services. Please do not resubmit an incident report, as that will create unnecessary duplicates. And again, here is that contact information for Beth Bales, who is our testing allegations coordinator in the Office of Legal Services. She's more than happy to answer any questions you have regarding testing allegations or Cavion itself. Here are some test security resources with links that we have discussed today, including Cavion, the reporting site, administration code regulation, and the inclusion of special populations regulation. Here is our contact information for various directors, managers, and consultants within the office. Please join us for other back-to-school trainings, including the Accountability Overview, Access and Alternate Access Modules, AKSA, K-Screen. And again, here's our contact information, the Office of Assessment and Accountability in the Division of Assessment and Accountability Support. Our phone number is 502-564-4394, and you can also email dacinfo@education.ky.gov with any further questions. Again, my name is Devin Avery, and thank you so much for joining us for that discussion on test security. Have a great day.